I can't be bothered to go get my mic right now. So, hi, hello, and welcome back to the What is K-pop podcast, where in which we talk all things K-pop. I just did that okay, that controller flippy thing like you do as a kid, and that like kind of low key annoys your parents, but we all do it. Or like those like things that we all do as kids. Yeah, one of those things. Yeah, one of the like weirdest things that I've just remembered. Don't know why I'm feeling the need to tell you this, but when my parents they what is this sentence going? Um, when I was younger and I had to obviously eat everything that was on my plate, and my mum wouldn't do like anything kind of different for us, me and my sister. I would have to eat like peas and stuff. And what I would do is that I'm sure that lots of kids did this, where in which I got all of my peas underneath my knife and tried to hide them. Yeah. I don't know why I thought to myself that that would work, because my parents were also kids at some point, and like I don't think they would think to not look under the obvious knife that just has a load of peas like under it. Like if we're gonna call a fork, you know, it is on there. It is under there. I'm also just looking quickly at when Strange Things comes onto Netflix in like my country. In England, it comes on at 1 a.m. GMT time. I thought it was 3 or like 5. No, I'm not watching that at that time. I'm probably gonna be awake. No doubt about that. I stress so much that I will more than likely be awake, but I'm not coming downstairs and watching Stranger Things. Like it had there is a point to this, by the way. There was like the first 5 minutes that were uploaded yesterday, or like today. It wasn't even 5 minutes. It was like 4.5, and also they had like all the like the frilly bits, with like like the Netflix logo, and then like stuff about when the season's coming out. I'm like, it's not the first 5 minutes. It's like the first 4.5. So why don't you just say that it's 4.5 minutes and just be done with it, and then we could be like, oh, we got an extra few seconds of the footage, instead of it being like, actually, you said 5 minutes, so how about you give us 5 minutes and we just say what we're meant to be saying? How about we do that? Like, is that too much to ask? But yeah, no, the reason why I wanted to I love how this was just like the biggest bit of what the fuckery ever. So today's the 7th of November, and I thought to myself, you know what? You know what would be good? You know what would definitely be annoying for me to have to think about each day? Doing an episode of the podcast. Ha ha ha. But it's not going to be like every single day, because I tried to do that before, failed miserably, and then I did a modified version for August, and I did it like every weekday. So Monday through Friday, sometime at like, I've been trying to do it about 7:30, 6:30 ish, swishy time. So then hopefully I remember to like upload the episode onto YouTube, because that's usually when I go on my phone in the morning. Doesn't work. So that will kind of go up then. I don't know what to talk about though. Like, what kind of things should I talk about? I have been listening to because I heard a little bit of Blue Valentine by MX, so I was like listening to their album, and I was like, oh, I should get back into MX a bit. And for Blue Valentine, like the album, they did a two halves of their original debut title track, OO. So they did um Bala and Superpower, something like that. And it's like the two like it's kind of as like a known as like a joke thing that when OO came out, it sounded like two different songs, or at least I thought it sounded like 50 million jokes, and like a couple of different songs. And so what they did is like they split it up to make the two songs, like the two halves, into full songs. And a lot of people were kind of commenting about if they did it with dice, and like if memory is serving me, which to be fair, not really, because I'm really tired for some reason. I don't think that dice is as weird as I was. Like if I could say that NMIX's songs were strange. Like, if I was to point to one song from NMIX that was strange, I would definitely say OO. Um, yeah, no, that was something that they did. So I want to talk a bit about NMIX's albums and stuff. Obviously, like everyone says, that the vocals are really good. So I might just go through and just give you the ranking of the songs and not kind of say like my comments on it, because if I'm to be honest, I know shit about music. Like, I do this podcast and yet I don't actually know what I'm talking about in terms of like, this song, it has like sonic beats, it like resonates in your soul, it sounds like X, Y, and Z. There's a channel called Chu Jimmy, actually, who is really, really good actually. Like, I don't know if he has studied music, but the way that he talks about it makes it seem like he really knows what he's like, he knows at least some level of like musiciness, because he was saying about something to do, yeah, he was talking about Blue Valentine in that like it explodes or something, like the love does something, I don't know, I can't remember exactly. Watched it yesterday and I slept since then, or at least kind of. And he was saying like the timeline, the twime line for twice, and like saying how each part of their discography is within this timeline. And I'm like, I know that music's my special interest, but I'm really not that like sonically into music in the sense of like knowing what music means. I'm more along the thinking of, does it sound good? Yeah. Am I having a good time? Yeah. Great. That's kind of like my limits on understanding music. Like, I know when it's like ballads and I know when it's like pop and rock and shit like that. But I'm a layman in terms of like music and stuff, which again, it's like it's so funny to me, because music has always kind of been quite an important thing in my life, kind of in the sense of like, I remember this was like back in 2010. We were in the car, and I think my dad must have been buying a car bit or something, and it was all the four of us. It was like, no, it was like the three of us. So it was my mum and me and my sister. We were sitting in the car and we were listening to Lady Gaga's I think it's The Next Monster. It was like it was her first album with like Judas and God, this is this is tragic. Like the really classic songs from like her early career, and my mum said like, oh, she's gonna be big when we were listening to it, and like she said like now like, oh, I was right. You didn't believe me, but I was right, and I'm like, mate, we didn't say that she wasn't. We just didn't say anything, and I was just like, it just makes me laugh, and like so like I listened to that a lot as a kid, and we would have because at the time we weren't that financially well off, so we would buy like the now that's what I call music CDs, and we would end up like listening to the songs that we'd listened to on like the radio, because obviously that's how it gets produced and stuff. And so I know a lot of individual songs from a lot of different bands, like the Sugar Bass, TLC, Girls Aloud, Atomic Kitten, like those sorts of early 2000s groups. Like I know song like one particular song from them, and so like that's kind of how I built my love of music, really. And obviously my sister would play like JLS and Take That and One Direction, well, not really One Direction, but NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and stuff like that. So I've heard again a few songs from there and stuff, and obviously I would then kind of semi get into One Direction. Obviously was like aimed for people my age, so I ended up listening to that quite a lot. And when my mum would obviously take me and my sister out places, we would listen to ABBA in the car because that's what she was into. And then when we were with my dad, we would be listening to Led Zeppelin. And so like I kind of grew up around a lot of music, but I never really had music like for myself, and I can't really like tell you what sort of music the non Led Zeppelin stuff was. Like I know that's rock music, but I can't tell you what the other stuff was. Obviously like ABBA was like Swedish pop music, I know that, but the rest of it I'm just like, no, 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 it's just music to me. um so then obviously when I got into K-pop I was just like, no, nothing, ain't nothing to me. Like even the differentiation between like EDM and just like classic ballad pop music, I'm like, I think so. Like I don't know. Like I literally I don't know the difference. Like when I was listening to B from BTS, like their pretty much like one of their last projects before they went on hiatus. This was in November of 2020. It was released, so I like listened to it quite soon after it was released, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then I went back and I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I fully like that sort of stuff because like obviously B was very similar to the stuff that I would listen to as a kid, and then Dionysus, whatever it's called. I listened to that, and it was kind of like my first real performance thing that I watched, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool," and it kind of reminded me a lot of Sexy Zone because there's a show on Netflix called Fuller House. It's like a remake on Full House. It was a show back in the 1990s. Um, and they went to Japan for one of the main characters' ex-partner's wedding, and like these two characters, they went to a J-pop concert by a group called Sexy Zone, and their music was kind of similar, at least like the thing that I listened to was quite similar to Dionysus, and so I was like, oh, okay, like this is interesting. But yeah, no, then I got into K-pop, and no, I wouldn't be able to definitively say without someone kind of planting me in the right direction. I wouldn't be able to tell you which genres are which. Like, well, kind of a lie. When I was listening to Hands Up actually by Mayel for the first time. I was like, that's similar to Card. That's Card. That's similar to Card. And I was like, Moonbaton, that one. I can't remember what it's called. And I was like, Card, similar to them. Yay! I was like really proud of that. And I actually had to go on to like the listing thing for it on the Wikipedia page thing, and like confirm that it was actually that, because I'm so unsure about like music styles. And like I've watched videos and stuff, and like I get it. Like I understand that like there are different things and that I can learn, but for some reason it's just nothing to me. So I don't know if I would necessarily be the best person to ask in terms of, oh, what's this song like? Like I can't say for sure. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable with directing you towards a song, but I can tell you what I think about it. I can give you like my opinion if that's like chill with you. Um yeah, no, that's kind of like it's one of those funny hee hee ha ha things where I'm like, I actually don't know what I'm talking about in this thing. So I really don't know why I got into making a podcast actually. Like if I am being honest, I'm like, you know, I really do just tell you who's in a group, don't I? That is really just the like limits on what I kind of do. But people seem to like it, so that is kind of my hope that you don't mind me completely sucking, you know. I hope so, yeah. Yeah, so I do kind of want to also talk about Yeonjun's mini solo album. No label, I can't speak. No labels part one. So obviously he's like the first member to do it properly. Eyelid's single album, Not Cute Anymore. I want to talk about them. All Day Project comeback, Triple S's MSNC. I'm sure there's a way to say that. There more than likely is. But then like each like subunit is gonna get their own song, and then like the whole group's doing one. That'll be cute. Did I actually tell you who is in the subunits for? I don't know. So I guess I will talk about that when it is relevant. I could talk about those subunits just in general, their music and stuff. Like I do want to kind of start doing that a little bit more, like telling you my ranking. Obviously, like things are going to be different for me because my preference for music does sway more towards like ballads. I love ballads. And I think obviously it is because of them being a lot slower and just easy listening. I just love easy listening like so much. Like I've always, yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I mean, I was kind of a hyperactive child as well, so I also liked the songs that you would listen to at Coachella. I love how I'm just like talking off the top of my head. Everyone's probably gone. I'm just talking into the void. Oh well. So no, I would like to talk a bit about that stuff. I would like to also talk about new jeans, but not in regards to their controversy. Like, I respect myself too much for that. Um, so I'm not even gonna start with that, but giving you my ranking of their music. So I think they only have about 16 songs, so it will all just be like, to put it bluntly, like lumped together. Um, so that will be happening in December, and then for like Christmas content, I don't know. I guess I could talk about like Christmassy songs because I know I did have a Christmas playlist on Spotify, so I can get onto Spotify. That would be brilliant. So I deleted all the cookies off my laptop, so it's a bit confused right now. I think I deleted it. That's fine. We can deal with that. Yeah, we can deal with that. That's fine. Yeah, I will figure that one out. Yeah, it'll be alright. And I will talk about my Spotify Wrapped if you want to hear about that. It'll more than likely be a lot of, if I can go on to on repeat, probably I think SM Town's Thank You will be on there. Plot Twist by At Heart. Definitely Lullaby by Cortis. I love that song. Childhood by The Rose. Definitely. So you can actually see the stuff that you've had on repeat recently. And then like stuff that used to be on your repeat called Repeat Rewind. Which I find interesting. But yeah, no, it will be in about a month's time when we find the Spotify Wrapped, which will be nice. We can all talk about that. I actually love telling my sister about my Spotify Wrapped, even though half the time I think my sister just kind of puts up with it. She's like, "Yep, my sister loves talking about that stuff." I'm like, "Yep, yep." Got no real qualms about admitting that I do that. But yeah, for 2024 it was like Skater, Touch, Different. And this, I think they're Indonesian, but this, I think, band of people who play this like native instrument, and they post like they post like their music and stuff. Helmi Aganara was born in Palakambun. I actually don't know where that is, but that is the artist if you want to know. I just love listening to that. Like, there's one track of theirs that I really like. I'm trying to search it, but it won't let me. But fair enough. It's Beautiful Land 2. Doesn't have that many views, which is unfortunate. But yeah, no, that is. I love how this was just like a fun little cutesy and demure rant. But yes, no. Episodes every day of weekday in December. As for actual Christmas, my mum is at work on Christmas Day. She's on a late, so I can talk to you. I have no qualms about doing that. Obviously the episode will like go out the day afterwards, like the days afterwards. So no, I don't have too many plans in the way of me doing those episodes. Lots of episodes. Um, it just might be that I go periods of time between me recording them, so I might pre-record some and not not talk to you for a few days. In my life, but in yours, you'll hear me every day. So the 1st to the 5th, 8th through to the 12th, 15th to the 19th, 20th to the 26th, and then the 29th to the 31st. That's when we'll have the monthly review and then just talk about like the year of K-pop too. And then the first, no episode. Then Friday, the first episode 2026. And then obviously in February we have the 2 year like, been doing this for 2 years. Holy shit. Like, where's the time gone? Seriously. I've been doing this for far too long. But yes, I want to go wash my face and put my pajamas on. And yeah, thank you as always for listening, and I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye.